Now they're not even allowed to sleep at night.
Come on, up you go. Let's go on the floor. Next time you take cover, call the flag. Oh.
Some are now on the verge of breaking point. But even if there's an air of menace about it, marine standards are so high that it's essential to test their fortitude to the very limits of endurance. Men's lives will be in their hands.
How are you finding this? Because now it's getting chilly now as you get
chilly?
wet.
You mean devastatingly cold? Not just chilly. It's manageable, I think, for now. Hands I can't feel at all, but...
Really?
Yeah, they're completely numb.
Right, the kit people have lost, or the kit we picked up in the positions this morning. Waterproof. Come and claim it, Mr. Ken. Take charge of it, sir. So, 3 sections. 1 heaving sock. Who's going to claim that? In fact, who's got the balls to claim it? Put it down, I think it might be self-proclaimed.
Dan,
Right, listen
easy.
in. That's the 2 section.
Not a bad effort. Lessons been learned, make sure it's remembered.
Change direction, left.
If you keep closed up, keep the step, then it's no problem at all, is it?
No, sir.
Okay, well done. Any problems? Anybody? Yes, sir.
Both the backs of my heels are raw blisters.
Are they?
Yes, Sergeant.
Don't worry, sir, we'll get it fixed.
Thank you, Sergeant.
It happens. You won't be the first, you're not the last.
A few problems. Okay, sit on the desk. Put your feet out. Right, okay. Are your boots too tight?
Not
Do you
too
think?
tight. I think probably it was just badly fitting at the back. I don't think they're too tight because I say the fronts and there's no problem in comfort.
Right, we better. You'll have to go down to the sick bay and get them to look at those.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What should I wear to go down sick bay? So, I think I've got a problem getting my boots back on again.
Put training rig on, which is what you're going to wear this afternoon. Put your training shoes on.
Yes, sir. I kept being done for being out of step because I couldn't get a full step because every time I went for a full step it really hurt. And it was, Mr. Young, get in step, Mr. Young, get in step. And I couldn't keep in step. But I kept going, there's no way I was giving up.
Yeah. Is that the philosophy for the rest of the course?
Yeah, you just have to ignore pain.
Okay, so you don't worry, we'll let you go for a swim as well.
Right. You're happy with that, mate? Right.
Off you go then.
Right down, keep it to the right hand side. Don't mess around, so just get straight in there. It's not that cold. In fact, it's not cold, it's freezing. That's it, sir, good effort. Keep the rope to the right. That's it, sir, well done.
Julian, you okay?
Right. Tempted.
You mad?
Temperate climate's there, isn't it?
Is this still jumping okay? Come on, engines over there. Let's get set.
Terrified. Really was. I kind of got in the water and I almost panicked. Getting to the other side, and I really thought I was going to go under. You see the sergeant had to pull the rope up for me to keep me out of the water. my pack was fine. I mean, everything was bone dry when I got out the other side. It was me. I don't like crossing water like that. It frightens me like anything.
Barbados is hardly the ideal background for a man training for Arctic warfare. It's no longer a question of whether Jackman will complete the course, but how long he can survive.
It's been a constant struggle. The call especially has been extremely difficult. The training of itself has been manageable, but it's the training coupled with the call that has made my life a horror.
Pardon?
You're very cold, very wet. Just can't get dry, which is the most miserable thing about it, I think. Once you're wet, then you get cold more easily.
Freezing.
Could you describe for me in 50 words a hot bath?
One word, heaven.
Nobody else is wearing a towel, sir? You won't either. Understand? It's not raining. It's perfectly nice weather, sir. Make sure this is tucked up tidily.
Son.
Keep still, sir. Keep still. You've got every item of clothing on known to man, haven't you, sir?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Yes, indeed. Right. Well, the best thing you can do, sir, is start taking it off. What I want you to do is drop that pack, take this off, take your gloves off, sir, OK? And shout out when you've done it.
Sorry.
There's no doubting Jackman's determination, but circulation problems have been confirmed by Surgeon Commander Ian Riddle.
If he were a Royal Marine young officer who we were expecting to go and serve in the Arctic at some stage, we would not be able to allow him to continue training. However, under his particular circumstances, he should be returning to a warmer climate, and therefore it should not give him future problems.
But you're obviously going to monitor him very closely from now on.
Very closely indeed, very closely indeed. And unfortunately, he will suffer considerable pain after every cold exposure, but he has made the decision that he wishes to continue, and I respect that decision.
What would your reaction be if you were forced, because of cold weather injuries, to leave training?
I wouldn't like that very much. You've got the additional pressure of coming so far, leaving Barbados, coming so far, everybody knowing that you are here to complete the course, to get the Green Beret, to go back home as one of the elite. And for me to leave at such an early stage in training, because we still have 30 odd weeks to go, at such an early stage in training would be heartbreaking.
Michael Jackman was incapable of anyone attracted by the glamour of the Royal Marines can find all he wants of it on the Brecon Beacons any February afternoon. These young officers, in the fifth of their 12 months of training, can't speak too highly of the glamour.
There's no such thing as waterproof clothing, garments. They just don't exist. Everything gets wet.
It's like socks and gloves you can stow under your armpits or in your groin to keep dry. It's not very pleasant, but they do heat up within a couple of hours. You've got a dry pair of socks, which is severely good news in these conditions.
But are you carrying little packages under your arm?
I'll get out the goods here if I can. Yeah, they've been in about half an hour and they're still damp, but they're drying off. I can feel they're drying off already. And I won't bother to go into what's down there, but I've got some more stuff. I've got a pair of gloves down there.
It tends to get me down a bit. If I do think about home, warm things like that, quite frankly, I just switch off.
But switching off is not a popular concept in the Marines. Switching off is what civilians do.
Now, what worries me at this stage is that first of all, your personal standards of patrolling and skills have fallen off the plot, as far as I'm concerned. You must get a grip of your personal skills, your patrolling skills, your individual skills. Because if you don't, when you're a troop commander, the standards you reflect will very rapidly be reflected for better or worse than the blokes you command. Let me put it...
Civilianship, in short, is a nasty habit that has to be renounced.
Yes, they have, as you say, vestigial traces of the civilian still in them, which I think is perhaps a bit disappointing at this stage. I think they really will affect their transformation over the course of the next 10 to 14 weeks, which leads them up to their commando course and their Green Beret.
They'll criticise me for this, but to me at the moment, it is a job. It's not a way of life. I haven't become a military person. I think I've said before that at the weekends I'm a civilian. I will be a civilian. I'm my own person, and they're not going to create a military stereotype out of me. And I'm not going to become just a soldier. I'm going to be me first, and then we'll see what happens.
For his 3 days on a bleak mountainside, Peter Cameron, a Cambridge graduate, has brought an appropriate book.
Well, a book called Hard Times by Charles Dickens.
The training is remorseless. When it's not marching or the mountains, it's the lecture room. Glasnost is not high on the curriculum. Here, they meet the enemy.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. Essentially, the object of our intellectual attentions this afternoon is this chap, the Soviet soldier, and the way in which he thinks. On this picture here, we see a senior sergeant kissing the Soviet flag, and the caption reads, "They remain faithful to the heroic traditions of our army and of our people."
It's Afghan army which protects Afghanistan, not Soviet. We conduct protection means, protect socialism. And socialism is, an inevitable course. It is progressive social structure. And by words of Lenin, by words of Brezhnev, by words of Marxism, socialism is an international inevitability. It is like exciting experience. When it rains on Saturday, you should just lie back and enjoy it.
I find the physical the most difficult part about the whole course, especially with commando training coming up. The training just seems to drain your body all the time.
It's 11 p.m. After another exhausting day, Jim Trotman craves nothing more than sleep. But there's still homework to be done. What eventually will he dream about?
Home. Outside life, really. Once you get under your duvet, then it's a different world. Until the alarm goes off at 6:15 again. Mainly I'm so tired, I just wake up, head hits the pillow, next thing I know, 6:15, and off we go again.
Right, shut up, Mr. Thorpe. Listen, it's my turn to talk, if you don't mind. What we're going to do today, now that you have completed part of your tactical training, is just do a small pause and consider what you've learnt so far and try and generate a new spirit for the rest of your tactical training. And what I'm trying to refer to now is a generation from knowledge, pure knowledge, which is what we've been teaching up to now, to the application of a bit of individual flair.
Each officer takes his turn commanding extremely realistic exercises.
Right. Get them, the section commanders, go around and place them in their marks.
Best thing to do, okay, is to get all the section commanders in on you, all right, and tell them exactly where you want to put them out. Okay, it'll save a lot of shouting and drama.
Right, sir. Mr. J, come in! David! Move! Move!
There are tanks, fighters, live explosives, and real CS gas.
Go! Okay, mate. What I need to do, I need to reorg your section from 12 to 4 o'clock. Yeah. Okay? Yeah, no problem. Well done, good man. Get Mr. Amos on me. Right, 84mm. I want you 12 o'clock on the road, covering a tank straight down the road. Stay this side of the road, yeah? Good. Right, what we're going to do, she's face up the road. That's all right, I've got it. Right. Troop sergeant, start getting around these blokes, checking their arcs, get all the cash ammo states off them. Start there on the ones...
I'm very pleased with the way it went, and I think the DSR too. I hope they are. Enjoyed it. Best bit of the exercise so far for me. I love it. It's great.
Really did. They put me on such a high. Brilliant. It really was.
Right, today we're going to grid 598682, which is an old mine. So you can write it down.
But for others, the course has become too much. One of them is Colin Young, who enlisted straight from a school career in which he wasn't used to coming second. Opting out requires courage too. He's to join a company called WH Smith.
I came to the end of December and the Marines said to me that I wasn't good enough and I need to improve a lot to get up to the grade that they required. So during January I gave 100%. Got to the end of January, I finished an exercise and they said, right, we still don't really think you're there. So sort of sat down and thought about it, rang up a lot of friends, spoke to my parents, and decided eventually that if I was going to be in a career, I wanted to do well at my career, because I'd done well at school in what I did and what I enjoyed, so change of direction was needed. So I went to see Lieutenant Darwellstone at the time, and I took a week's leave, think about it, and at the end of the week I decided to leave the Marines, resign. But I think if I'd had a year off and gone around the world, looked after myself for a year and lived away from home, I'd have been much better. I'd probably stood a much better chance and had no problems with the course. Physically, I wasn't too bad. I mean, because I was sort of fit anyway when I went in, and I got on okay with that. It was more actually the management side of it, and the fact that I was with people who were better than me, which I'd never been in a situation like that before. I'd previously been at school, I was sort of like the best at sport, and no problem whatsoever. And suddenly I'm in a situation where everybody's sort of fitter than me, and better mentally than me, and better grades at A-level, whatever, and sort of problems there.
Do you think, even though the 5.5 months has helped you in your new career?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I sort of grew from being a school kid to an adult in those 6 months, whatever it was. Definitely, yeah.
Some young men come before me and request to resign, and the Corps is very sad about it and wishes they would stay. In other cases, some young men come before me and request to resign, and I think there's a mutual understanding that that is probably a wise course of decision. And in a few cases, we ask a young man to leave because we don't believe that he would be suitable. And some of them join, having been through the Potential Officers course, the Admiralty Interview Board, and visits where they become more aware of what the Corps is about. But they join and they get into it, and they find that really this life is not for them. This military life is not for them. And that is totally understandable. And there are many people for whom the military life just does not suit.
There's good reason to pay close attention to these exercises in peaceful Devon lanes. 6 months from now, some will be doing it for real in Northern Ireland.
Right, and where have you just come from? Where do you live?
Where do I live? I live in Exeter.
Have you just driven from Exeter just now?
Yes, I have.
Right, gentlemen, if you could drive along just to where the man in the green jacket is standing, and pull the car to the side of the road and get out of the car. Where you've got some room to give another vehicle a chance to pass. In the left now, please. Now! Stop it! Engage! Yeah. Keep quiet!
You've really got to have a good think, you know, if I shoot this bloke or if I attempt to shoot him. It's like
the world's biggest court of inquiry.
Stopping a vehicle if it doesn't want to stop. I mean, is it somebody who's just not going to stop for the sake of it, or is it two terrorists?
We spend a lot of our time here really teaching you the disciplined application of extreme violence, which is basically what we do. And it's strange then to come to a package like this, counter-revolutionary warfare, where we actually have to say to you, switch that off, because that's not the game. And in this case, more force was used, and there is absolutely no doubt that that situation would have ended up in a court of law, and the person responsible would undoubtedly have received some form of punishment in a civil court.
That incident, demanding instant decision, provokes them to consider their work ethic, killing people.
Given it a bit more thought, certainly, since I've been in training, but I think I'll have to do it, really, if as a troop commander one day, and it might be a decision that you regret afterwards, but responsibility is to the men and the job.
What I dread is after the situation, you know. I have actually taken somebody's life, you know. And you automatically think of whoever it may be, whether it be Soviets or whatever, you know, you think there's somebody's son, isn't it?
Most weekends are free, but for a very good reason they don't leap into sports cars and dash up to London for a night in Annabelle's.
You sleep for 6 or 7 hours like a log, and then you wake up tired again. You've got to go, you know what I mean? You wake up, you know, rings around your eyes and everything. It's an effort to lift yourself off the bed, and you get up and get going again. The blokes run down a bit, so their bodies are not working as they should do, so they're not repairing as well, and getting all pussy and everything, going septic.
Listen, with the webbing burns on your back, then they're just not healing up at all.
This chap over here, he's got hideous webbing burns. You want to see them.
Come on, good burns. What about the one behind my ear? It's got one burn spoil my ear. Is your flexion more?
Get that bit of skin off and put it in your pie, you know. They obviously get worse than that. There are blokes who are much worse, but constant rubbing, you know, and it's just more or less a burn. That's all it is.
I've always found fishing quite relaxing. Certainly at the end of the week, you're ready for a break. It's good to get away from the regular crowd, to do something different. It seems a bit ironic, really, that we slog our guts out most of the time on Dartmoor, wade through bogs and ford streams and things, and then it's exactly what I come and do at the weekends as well. So, I still quite like Dartmoor. I think in many ways I'm pretty much unemployable as your average office-type worker, and I think many of the people in the batch are. And I find many of the lectures now very mundane, and rather some of them, better watch what I'm saying here.
Do you ever think about what is going to happen very shortly? You could be joining a commando unit going to Northern Ireland.
Yeah. Yes, I do, actually. I think maybe a lot of people don't. But I think about it quite a lot.
Along what sort of lines?
Along the lines of just you wonder how you'd cope in that situation, because nobody knows just what they're going to do the first time they really run into some trouble. Nobody knows what's going to happen, how they're going to cope, what their men are going to think of them after it, or maybe they'll get the sack, maybe they'll get shot, or Casevac, or whatever.
Slowly, the metamorphosis from civilian to soldier is taking place. How do their own friends regard them now?
Sometimes they treat you with a bit of awe, and sometimes a bit of suspicion, because you're in the forces, and sometimes because you're in an organisation which represents the Queen, the country, or whatever. They sometimes think, is he still okay, as it were?
Joining for Queen and Country was not a prominent reason for me. I wanted to join because I enjoyed the outdoor life, and I wanted to have the responsibility. It does come into it, Queen and Country, but it wasn't my prominent reason. So I never really get derided or laughed at for it. In fact, a couple of my friends sort of wished they'd done the same thing in a way, I think.
I don't think they treat me differently. I probably treat them a little bit more differently. They take me the same way, but I look at them and it's probably very pompous, but you automatically, you think, oh, well, they've not done what I've done.
For many, this is the turning point. Out there, the civilians, the civvies. But you are now a Royal Marine.
My girlfriend said I once went to see her and I was talking about the civvies, and she hit me and said, well, I'm one. But we walk around, and if you see someone with pink hair and whatever, bloody civvy.
It's a strange sort of standard they put on you, because you feel so much cleaner, because you dobie 2 or 3 times a day at times, and you wash your shirts each night, etc. You just feel cleaner in a way than everyone else around you.
I feel I've changed. I've grown up a lot, having coming straight from school, mixing with these guys who, some of them 6 years older than me. I've had to grow up fast, and I think I've got a little bit more confidence as well. And I've had to use that confidence to bridge all the problems that I've had, all the little walls there are to climb before you get there in the end.
The crucial commando tests are about to start. Peter Ainsworth, who won no marks for arriving on the course in an RAF bomber jacket, has a severe ankle sprain.
I'm sure with enough strappings and enough painkillers I'll get through. But I'll get through somehow.
Stand by. Go!
The commando tests, quite simply, are what separate the civilian from the Marine. 5 weeks of an endurance course, a Tarzan assault course, speed marching, and a 30-mile yomp, all carrying 35 pounds against the clock.
Very good. Well done, gentlemen. One of the better 9-mile speed marches I've seen off a batch. Well done indeed.
Ainsworth vibrates with pain after the speed march. Another man, having come this far, decides it's no longer worth it. He quits and walks from the Royal Marines forever. The Tarzan assault course is simply the last place you need to discover a fear of heights. Jim Morris did just that, so they sent him straight round again.
Come on, Jim. Your time here. Aggression, Jimmy. Come on. Jim, you're doing well. Come on, Keeper, remember, Basuk is part of an all rest of it. Get out there. Come on.
Left arm towards me.
Good. Push. Relax. Come on.
Now, right leg up.
Come on.
Bend your right leg up. Left leg forward. Left leg forward.
Get in there.
Left leg forward.
Come on, Mr. Morris, you've got to start working.
Come on, Jimmy boy.
Come on. Good, get it. Okay, come on.
Don't stop for the camera.
Come on.
Let's go. Come on then, sir.
Come on. Work hard. That's still good. Come on.
Don't overstretch. Toes in. Use the block.
Come on.
Sir, take control of yourself. Toes in. Don't lean back.
Get yourself straight. Get the toes on. Stand up on the legs.
Toes in. That's it. All the way. Toes in. Don't overstretch.
Get the hands on the rope.
Don't overstretch, sir. Just keep that going and you're all right.
Come on.
Made it. Take it up, sir. Don't throw your weapon down, or else it'll be 20 press up. Got that water bottle there. Okay, so hands on the back there. Into the nose, out through the mouth. Well done, Jim.
Cheers, mate.
Go stand there, Jim. You alright?
Yeah.
Well done, Jim. Look a bit silly.
Get in, mate. I don't hear something. Did I or you? Did I?
Right, so what you did was a good effort, but you did it in 11:45. You'll get a rerun on Saturday, alright? That 15 seconds should go. Okay, sir?
Okay, sir.
You've got to cross there, you've got to cross the chasm. Alright, you've got over what was your problem. Alright, that is your first run, you know that. So you can't complain on 11:45. Alright, you know you've got 15 seconds to knock off.
Right,
okay, sir, and you can do it.
Stuff.
Alright? Okay, sir, fall in with the rest of them.
1 week of nightmare anxiety later, Morris ran again. He beat the qualifying time by a remarkable 30 seconds.
Okay, gents, well done this morning. Good effort.
Well, welcome to the 30-miler brief, your last test of the commando course. 30 miles across the moor from Oakhampton down to a place called Cross Furzes, which is near Buckfastleigh. The whole thing to be completed in 7 hours by Syndicate.
30 miles in 7 hours, carrying 1/3 of a hundredweight.